It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be pod-smacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
And here I am. This is episode number 168. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here, guys. Lots of stuff to get to, including the Emmys last night. And it became kind of a political free-for-all, I guess, to some degree. Not a big surprise. Disappointing. But, you know, this is what you get in Hollywood. We will share audio from that. We've got a lot of other stuff to get to as well. More NFL protesting. Oh, no. Oh, man. And I think you're going to enjoy the show today. Oh, and one of my heroes passed away. I'll share who that is coming up very shortly. Anyway, welcome to the show. Particularly if you are on the Podcast Radio Network. Thanks, guys, for joining me. It means a lot to me. I joined the Podcast Radio Network about, a month ago, and my show is already number 2 on the Podcast Radio Network. My brothers and sisters on that Podcast Radio Network are very important to me, and I hope you will support it. PodcastRadioNetwork.net. Okay? All right. Do you believe in chiropractic? I do. If you're in Kansas City, Dr. Alex Nelson, fountainoflifechiro.com. Here's the number, 816-741-4711, 816-741-4711. They're on North Congress Avenue in KC, and I'll tell you, chiropractic has saved me. It's saved me in so many ways. You ever throw out your lower back? You ever had a sciatic nerve pinch? I've had that happen. Can't get out of bed. Oh, dear Lord in heaven. Worst thing in the world. Chiropractic was the only thing that worked for me. Fountainoflifechiro.com. Fountainoflifechiro.com. By the way, $30 veterans and veterans family adjustment fees. So that's pretty cool. That's really cool, actually. All right, let's talk about the day's events. One of my heroes. Professional wrestling. I like it. You know, I don't follow it. I'm not a religious WWE fan. But I was a fan of All-Star Wrestling when I was a little boy. I grew up watching All-Star Wrestling. Now, these are the classic wrestlers. It became much bigger in the 80s, and then it became The Rock, and it became the whatever. This is when guys just wrestled in their underwear. Bobby the Brain Heenan died on Sunday. Yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Wrestler, professional wrestling manager. And this is where he was so damn good. He was a manager for more than 40 years. Regarded as many of the one of the greatest managers in sports entertainment history. This guy was so cool. Bobby the Brain Heenan. I remember going to see All-Star Wrestling in Omaha, Nebraska at the Omaha Civic Auditorium with my brother Dwight. He took me there. It was one of the greatest days of my life. And I saw the High Flyers. Vern Gagne is the father. Greg Gagne is his son. Jimmy Brunzell. They were the High Flyers. Bobby the Brain Heenan, the manager. Oh, God, you just hated him so much. But he was so glorious. Bobby the Brain Heenan he knew how to whip you into a lather. You hated him so much, but he was so glorious. Oh, my God. Baron von Raschke, Mad Dog Vachon, Rufus Railroad Jones. These were the original characters of wrestling. Oh, my gosh in heaven. Just so good. Bobby the Brain Heenan, kind of a speech impediment a little bit. I remember he used a spit when he was Bobby the Brain Heenan, dead at 73. I enjoyed All-Star Wrestling. It was the best. It's kind of like country music. It became a caricature of itself when All-Star Wrestling was there. You know, it was enough. It was enough. It was bombastic. It was outrageous. It was unbelievable. And I mean, unbelievable. Like, you couldn't believe that this was happening. I get it. And then it got even bigger. And then it had to be, I guess, become bigger. And we moved into the outrageous characters. But this was the original days of pro wrestling. Just spectacular. Bobby the Brain Heenan. Wow. All right, let's move on to the Emmys last night. I don't know, guys. I was a little bit disappointed. But, you know, is this a surprise? Is this a surprise? I mean, you've got a program, a TV program that is hyper-political. You know what? I'm just damn sick and tired of this shit, to be quite honest. I remember I don't remember when, but I know that the Grammys, the Emmys, the Oscars and all this, they were just a celebration of the talent. And now they're just political crap. And that's what happened last night. And I watched a good share of it with my daughter. She was getting mad at me because I was doing live political commentary, rolling my eyes and whatnot. Honestly, Hollywood, you're so effed. You are so beyond effed. So tired of your shit. Really. Stephen Colbert brought out Sean Spicer, actually, to begin the show. Among other things that happened last night that were hyper-political. Here it is.
What really matters to Donald Trump is ratings. You got to have the big numbers. And I certainly hope we achieve that tonight. Unfortunately, at this point, we have no way of knowing how big our audience is. I mean, is there anyone who could say how big the audience is?
Well, it's getting much smaller, actually.
Sean, do you know?
Well, now they're applauding him. Now they're applauding him.
This will be the largest audience to witness an Emmys, period, both in person and around the world.
Wow, that really soothes my fragile ego.
Yeah, it is.
I can understand why you'd want one of these guys around. Melissa McCarthy, everybody, give it up. Robert De Niro's in the front row. He's nominated, of course, for his role in Wizard of Lies, which I believe was the Sean Spicer story. Thank you again for being here, Sean.
Okay, there he goes. He proselytized himself in front of Hollywood. And I guess that's what they wanted. I don't know. Here's Alec Baldwin talking about Donald Trump finally getting his Emmy.
I suppose I should say, at long last, Mr. President, here is your Emmy. I want to thank my wife. My wife and I had 3 children in 3 years, and we didn't have a child last year during the SNL season. I wonder if there's a correlation there. All you men out there, you put that orange wig on, it's birth control, trust me.
Okay, but that's fine. I don't know. Bunch of like-minded people in a big auditorium. Dave Chappelle was there. I like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's a funny dude. Met him years ago in Cincinnati. Just had a wonderful interview. I wish I had that on tape because I really, really enjoyed talking to him. He's talking about why he skipped rehearsal.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is David Chappelle.
My name is Melissa McCarthy.
And it is an honor to be amongst you all. And I am truly amazed how many black people are here. I counted 11 on the monitor.
11.
I should also tell you that I skipped rehearsal.
But the good thing is you can't tell at all. This is going exactly how we planned it to go.
Dave Chappelle kind of an interesting story. Years ago, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I really did. I had him in my studio. And I told him, I said, I wish I did what you do for a living. And he said, Rob, I wish you did what you do. Or I wish I did what you do for a living. He did not like being on the road. He told me that he'd much rather be in the studio. Didn't have to deal with the cigarette smoke. And at the time, this is like 2001. But I had a terrific interview with Dave Chappelle. This was before he did the Chappelle show and the whole deal. Right as he was beginning to explode as a stand-up comedian and a performer. I like the guy. I think he's a good guy. So apparently the Emmys announcer was kind of a big deal. They had Jermaine Fowler from the show Superior Donuts do the announcements backstage. I guess I didn't notice that. Here's a little bit.
This is the 6th Emmy win and 12th nomination for John Lithgow. At the age of 27, John won a Tony Award only 18 days after the Broadway debut. With a total of 231 overall nominations.
He sounds 12!
SNL has more nominated than any other program in any history, except on behalf of the team, it's Lauren Michael. For exclusive live behind-the-scenes videos from tonight's show, go to facebook.com/television.com. Julie Louis-Dreyfus now hosts
What, Jewy? Do you want to call her Jewy? I don't know. That's a good idea.
Record for most Emmys won by a performer in the same role for the same series.
Jewy.
This is the first Emmy win and second nomination for Riz Ahmed. He's
Jewy.
also known by his hip-hop alias, Riz MC. I'm also known by my hip-hop alias, Jermaine Ahmed.
Wow, he was bad. I mean, wow. He was bad. Stephen Colbert. Supreme douchebag. Here he is opening the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 69th Emmy Awards. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, blow me.
Thank you very much. This is exciting. Can you feel this is TV's highest honors? Us. Celebrating us. Tonight, we binge ourselves. And there have never been more platforms to get your TV than right now. You have broadcast, you have cable, you have Amazon, you have YouTube, Hulu, Vudu, Netflix, Vitamix, you have Vimeo, you have Twitch, you have Crackle, Crunchle, Bumble, Twerk, Glorp, Flurp, Uber Eyeball.
And this is why no one is watching you. This is why nobody's watching you. A little bit more from Stephen Colbert.
Netflix alone raked in 92 Emmy nominations this year. Yeah, sure. Why not? And may I remind you, 5 years ago, their hottest show was a scratch DVD of Finding Nemo. Premium cable still has a ton of great shows. I am sure HBO will take home a lot of Emmys tonight, which they'll have to melt down to pay for next year's hacker ransom.
Dude.
Too soon? Broadcast TV also had its triumphs this year. Remember Broadcast? The TV OG, where it started? Broadcast TV is breaking new ground. In fact, this season, CBS will have twice as many Sheldons as any other network in history.
Okay. All right. Here he is talking about the diverse group of nominees.
A great year for diversity in television. In fact, for the third year in a row, this is the most diverse group of nominees in Emmy history.
Who cares?
And there's so many talented African-American nominees. Jeffrey Wright, Viola Davis.
At what point does having an African-American in your cast, at what point does it become not diverse?
Samira Wiley.
I mean, A lot of black people on TV.
Uzo Aduba, Anthony Anderson from ABC's Blackish, and of course Bill Maher. I assume he's black since he's so comfortable using the N-word. I don't know.
There you go. That was kind of actually funny. Here he is starting off the ceremony with a song.
Dear friends, the next time the world's problems make you feel the blues, turn on any channel, well, except the news, 'cause troubles aren't so troubling when you see them in HD. The world's a little better on TV.
Okay, that's fine. That's just about basically TV. I don't understand why, honestly. All in the Family was a political show eventually. Maude, political show. There were shows one day at a time. What a turd that was. What a turd that was. I grew up in the 1970s. Okay, all right, whatever. I'm old, whatever. Can we just effing entertain people? Can we just effing entertain people? Last night's Emmys were disgraceful. You and I like to watch television, okay? And more so, I like watching HGTV because I'm just so effing tired of the political crap. I watch Fixer Upper. They're just a wonderful couple. They're happy. They're glorious. They're wonderful. And they just fix up houses. And they present them to people who are unbelievably happy with the product that they get. Now, I watched Chip and Joanna, and I think it's amazing that somebody would turn over the entire project to these two people. And because I remember my wife and I redoing a home in the D.C. area. My wife was freaked out about the selection of door pulls for the kitchen. How could you possibly turn over your home to a couple in Texas? But it's glorious. It's glorious, and it's not political. That's what I love about it. Unfortunately, the Emmys were the opposite of that.
You can't deny that every show was influenced by Donald Trump in some way. All the late night shows, obviously. House of Cards, the new season of American Horror Story, and of course, next year's Latin Grammys, hosted by Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Muy caliente. And we all know the Emmys mean a lot to Donald Trump because he was nominated multiple times for Celebrity Apprentice, but he never won. Why didn't you give him an Emmy? I tell you this, if he had won an Emmy, I bet he wouldn't have run for president. So in a way, this is all your fault. Why? I thought you people loved morally compromised anti-heroes. You like Walter White. He's just Walter much whiter.
You're dealing with a group of people who are like thinkers, and they're disregarding half of the audience. I watched this damn thing. I watched it last night, and I'm like, we can disagree politically, but damn it, can we just watch effing television? Here is Stephen Colbert joking about Ted Cruz watching porn. Non-story. One of Ted Cruz's interns. Blah, blah, okay.
Of course, these days, everybody loves streaming video. Just ask Ted Cruz. But knock first. You don't want to just walk in.
Here's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She won a bunch of stuff last night. Winning and then also going after the president.
We have a great final season that we're about to start filming with a lot of surprises that our fabulous writers have cooked up. We did have a whole storyline about an impeachment, but we abandoned that because we were worried that someone else might get to it first.
Blow me. Honestly. That's cool. I mean, honestly, that is absolutely cool. Do that. Do that. Belong to a party. Espouse a political doctrine. That's fine. But I'm not going to watch you. I'm just not going to watch you anymore. It's one of the reasons why I watch HGTV. I just do. I don't care to watch this crap anymore. Can you just entertain? I'll tell you right now, guys, one of the reasons I use the name Carson, and Carson is not my name. All right. It's not my name. I use the name Carson because I was asked when I was a kid right out of college. Somebody said, you need a radio name, because my name was not, I guess, good enough, whatever. And so I chose the name Carson. Why did I choose the name Carson? Because Johnny Carson is my idol. Johnny Carson, host of The Tonight Show, was my idol. It was one of my dreams to be the host of The Tonight Show, which is going really well, right? And I like Johnny Carson. I enjoyed watching Johnny Carson. He hosted the Oscars. He did everything. Johnny Carson did everything. And that's why he used his name, because he also grew up near me. He lived near my hometown in Avoca, Iowa. My hometown's Neola, Iowa. He lived in Avoca, Iowa for a while. And he grew up in Nebraska. And Johnny Carson was my idol. It just was. I didn't give a shit about his politics. I don't even know what he never said it. Johnny Carson never said it. And then you see this POS last night, this awards ceremony that they can't help themselves. They have to make it political. And it's so just irritating to me. Just agonizing. It's like, can we just celebrate watching a product on television? I watch a good deal of television. I don't binge watch a lot of stuff because I got better things to do in my life. It's just frustrating. Just frustrating. Binge watching TV is killing us. Excessive hours of sitting to watch TV has been linked to an increased risk, of dying from inflammatory diseases like Alzheimer's and diabetes. This, according to a study from Australia. 8,900 adults. The Journal of Medicine and Science found each additional hour of TV viewing was associated with a 12% increase of risk of inflammatory-related death. Okay, so each additional hour of TV was associated with a 12%. So if you watch 10 hours of television, you have a 120% increase in the risk of inflammation. That's just so stupid. Really? Each hour? I'm sitting doing the show right now. I'm sitting in a chair. It's quite delightful, actually. Inflammatory diseases cover a vast array of disorders and conditions that are characterized by inflammation, kidney disease, diabetes, asthma, Alzheimer's. Wow. Researchers at the Baker Heart and Diabetes Institute quizzed adult participants about the viewing habits via a questionnaire. And there was a rise of streaming services like Netflix that have essentially, I guess, contributed to, as my phone rings, rise in all of these maladies. I don't know. Yes, if you sit on your ass, you're going to get fat. If you sit on your ass, you're going to get diabetes. Honestly. If you watch TV all day, duh. Is this whole binge watching, is it that much different than what we all went through in the 70s and the 80s? I mean, we sat and watched television. Right? We sat and watched television. Is this so different? It's a headline. Hobby Lobby. Apparently they had a decoration that featured replicas of raw cotton plants. Okay, so you've got a jar essentially with cotton plants sticking out of it. All right. Yeah, it's like what you do with pampas grass and all these stupid granola frickin' things my wife buys all the time. But this featured cotton plants, right? Somebody saw the raw cotton plants and said that this decor is so wrong on so many levels. There is nothing decorative about raw cotton, a commodity which was gained at the expense of African-American slaves. So somebody saw a cotton plant and said that it's racist. A little sensitivity goes the wrong way. Please remove this decor. So you can't have cotton as a plant. Cotton as a plant is now not allowed. Cotton as a plant is racist. Real quick there, folks. I don't care if you're black or white. Real quick. What kind of underwear are you wearing? What is your underwear made out of? Mm-hmm. What is your pillowcase made out of? Really? The touch, the feel of racism, the fabric of our lives. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Kellyanne Conway. I like Kellyanne Conway. She's swimming against the stream. She's talking a little bit about the Emmys, among other things. I thought what she had to say about the Emmys was profound and interesting. Here she is on Fox and Friends.
I guess it's sort of the same. It's the sameness. They got plucked and polished and waxed, and some of them didn't eat for 2 months, and all
that is fantastic. They got plucked and polished, and some didn't eat for 2 months. Spectacular description of Hollywood.
For what? To sound the same, and they have a right to speak. But if you're tuning in to watch, if you're American, you're tuning in to watch your favorite actors and actresses and shows. And I used to do it routinely as a kid. Who's going to win? And oh, she lost, and I love her show more. And there is very little of that. It's between the Emmys, the Miss America pageant was very politicized. Yep. Our sports are very politicized, and it looks like the ratings are suffering. It looks like America is responding by tuning out because they want you to stick to your knitting. They want you to
act, tell jokes, act, shut the F up. I just want to see you act. Okay, you know what? You're a little monkey. Okay, you are here to entertain me. Don't ever forget that you are a little monkey here to entertain me. Okay, Julia Louis Dreyfus, you're a little monkey here to entertain me and keep me watching during the commercials.
I guess in this case, read the stuff other people write for you. And so they're welcome to their opinion, but how does it really fit? I got that feeling of the old Sesame Street song, one of these things does not belong here. It was on and on and on. And I think it's this culture of sameness that I talk about. Look at the Media Research Center Newsbusters analysis recently, where 91% of the coverage about President Trump in the summer was negative. I felt the same last night watching it, but I am so happy Kate McKinnon was able to get her Emmy. I know she thanked Hillary Clinton, but it had to be much more fun to play me.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So there's Kellyanne Conway. It just entertained me. You know, I do a show that is opinion driven to some degree, and I try to add some other things to the show, so you don't just get tired of hearing my opinion. But if you expect to be entertained, then entertain me. Okay? That's it. If you expect an opinion, then opine. Guys, I'm glad you joined me today, particularly on the Podcast Radio Network, podcastradionetwork.com. Glorious organization, and you guys have made this show the number 2 show. We'll see what happens in the month of September. I think it's going to go through the ceiling. If you wouldn't mind, please share on social media. I would be I would be so appreciative. You have no idea. I'm looking for a job in terrestrial radio, and the job search is a bitch. You haven't lived until you've had to sell something of value in your life to pay the bills. Okay? That happens sometimes. That's happened to me. I hope you will share on social media. I hope that this show will grow, and you'll realize, and people will realize what a value it is as far as an entertaining media. And I will be able to pay my bills, because things can get rough at times. They can, they are. In the meantime, thank you to my sponsors. Dr. Alex Nelson, fountainoflifecairo.com, fountainoflifecairo.com. If you're in Kansas City and you need an adjustment, you need chiropractic care, I can't tell you how valuable it is, how much it means to me. It saved me. It saved me. Again, fountainoflifecairo.com. Also, Grass Monsters KC, grassmonsterskc.com. American-made mowers, Hustlers made in Kansas. They are brilliant mowers. Also, these Dixie choppers that are made in Indiana, they are amazing pieces of American technology. They will last you the rest of your life. GrassMonstersKC.com, 5520 Raytown Road, Raytown, Mo. Guys, again, the podcast is available here. It is available on your Amazon Alexa. It is also on iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, among other things. Have a glorious rest of your day. God bless you, and we will see you real soon.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.